want you to listen to what Henry Kissinger said. And remember, he is the mentor of Klaus Schwab. I want you to listen to this. And this will, I think, give us a thought pattern of what Gavin Newsom just said. Listen to this. It says, in 1992, this was spoken by Henry Kissinger. A new world order will emerge. The only question is whether it will arise from intellectual or moral insight and by design, which reminds you of the Agenda 2030, or whether it will be forced on mankind by a series of catastrophes. That's a challenge of our period, and it makes it, to my mind, one of the most exciting periods which anyone can live. So if the agenda does not take place in what they're wanting by intellect, by smarts, by all these people who are brilliant from the WEF, then it may take catastrophic events. We're going to talk about what Gavin Newsom just said. LA 2.0, we need to discuss it because all of a sudden regulations cut. Everybody's going to be able to build back. The question is, if you have no money because insurance didn't pay you, how are you going to build back? Only the people who can afford it. There could be some changes coming. Now we're also going to discuss some AI intelligence things with Sam Altman. What did he just say and what is he using this eye for? It's amazing how much your eye can tell about you. And they're wanting to know more about you. What did I always warn you about crypto? It'll surprise you, the story coming out. And then there's a few more stories. There's some things lining up at the White House. There's some big trucks coming in. What are those trucks for? We'll discuss it. Let's dive into all these stories and a few more. This video starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. That's okay, but let us know what you think about the content of today's video. We humbly ask if you enjoy it. If it gives you a thought-provoking way of looking at wisdom and common sense, please give us a thumbs up because it does help us share a message across this platform. Now let's dive into these stories. First, let's talk about Gavin Newsom and the fires. Now, let's go over a few details, a few facts, and then we're going to go back to that quote that I used and what Gavin's new push is to help the people. So let's go over just a few facts first, and then we'll go from there. California has now said that they're going to spend $50 million to try to stop Trump's agenda as it comes to California and stop the deportations. Now, don't you think the focus should be not on that? It should have been focused on the dangers of wildfire problems that they could have. I want you to listen to this shared from Morrow in the Fall that came from LA Times, now a liberal newspaper. Listen to this. It says, the Palisades fire could have been slowed if officials prioritized proper brush clearance. As homes burned and winds spread embers like wildfire, it's clear ignoring the essential prevention step could have cost lives and property. The Getty Villa proved it. A smart landscaping and cleared brush saved their structure. So why wasn't this the same in all these vulnerable areas? It's time for our leaders to stop ignoring basics and start protecting California instead of worrying about all the other things they put their focus on. So that's two things, factual. We spend money to keep illegals here. At the same time, they're literally doing things that are not helping prevent. Jack Hibbs, I don't know if you watch him, he's a pastor, but he made a huge, it went viral, but he made a huge comment yesterday. It's about 3 minutes long. You need to go find it. We talked about the fact that California's been under supermajority of Democrats and liberal agendas and rerouting water to the Pacific, not in California, not keeping California. And it's been done by their leadership. And now this is the cause of bad leadership. Now, but Gavin has a plan. Let's listen to what happens, and then let's go back to that quote by Henry Kissinger. This was shared by Shadow of Ezra account on Twitter. It says, Governor Gavin Newsom announces a sweeping plan to rebuild Los Angeles, dubbing it LA 2.0. Under his Marshall Plan-inspired initiative, that signals major changes for the city. Newsom reveals he's already mobilizing city troops, civic influencers, and powerful businesses and labor unions to execute his vision. He says that the region will completely be reorganized, vowing to seek federal assistance to reshape Los Angeles ahead of the Olympics. This sounds more like a fantasy, doesn't it? You know when this announcement was made? Weeks ago. LA 2.0. How you wanted to revitalize this area as the Olympics come close. Wait, but let's go back to Henry Kissinger's quote. Well, by intellect, we will make this new world order happen. Or, if that doesn't happen, catastrophic events. Do you not see the writing on the wall? It's unbelievable. They're literally telling you the quiet parts out loud. This smart LA 2.0, this was a plan way before the fires. Isn't it convenient that all of a sudden some catastrophic event happens to the area he wants to revitalize? Mind blowing. You know what's even crazier? Insurance is not going to pay for a lot of this to be rebuilt. Listen to this. He said, I'm going to cut red tape. I'm going to cut the bureaucracy to make sure people can rebuild very quick and make sure they can restore their lives. Now, if you had an insurance policy that was supposedly going to cover your mortgage for $4 or $5 million or $2 or $3 million, because the average house, they said, was $5 to $50 million in this area, which is stupid. But if you had an average piece of property that's worth $1 million, because I imagine if your smaller home burned and you own it from the 70s and 80s, and in this area it's went up dramatically, well, you can't rebuild. You either have to sell the land, or you either can't rebuild and someone else buys the land out from under you because they don't have to worry about the red tape anymore, and they have the dollars to do it. Isn't that amazing how all of a sudden he wants to help the people, but really the people he's going to be helping is not the people that really need the help. It's going to be the people who doesn't need the help and has the money, and they can go in there and do major overhauls to LA 2.0. This was shared by Ketchup and Ian Miles Chung. It says, Gavin Newsom hints that the land speculators will try to buy up this property, and he's trying his due diligence to make sure that just land grabs can't happen. Oh, but he cuts the red tape for it to happen. And the insurance companies pull out weeks ago to where people can't have insurance on their properties. It's just a lot of coincidences happen there. And if you're like me, coincidences don't tend to be coincidences, especially when they're of this cascading amount. If we can't do it by intellect, we'll do it by catastrophic events. Isn't it weird how these places that are getting hit tend to be major tourist hubs and tend to be places where there's been holdouts to where they may want to revitalize, such as North Carolina, Asheville area. I mean, it's a gorgeous area. Gorgeous area. Well, people don't have insurance, can't rebuild. Well, somebody's got to come in there and fix it. There's rare earth minerals there. We've got to make sure there's avenues for those mountains, and we got to make sure that we help those people. There was a warning sent out by one of the residents there. It says, look, everybody's taking their focus off our catastrophe. He said, I'm not trying to make light of California. He said, but we're still snowed in, living in squalor, junk on the roads, and can't find propane to keep our families warm. What's going to happen is people are going to get fed up and they're going to leave. Another place where people can go in and move in. Pay attention to what Henry Kissinger said. Not by intellect and by the smartness of people, the brilliance among us. It will happen by catastrophic events. It's amazing how well we're seeing that lived out right before our eyes. Now let's go to this new world dystopian future. You know, all you people who push for crypto, listen to this. Using the orb, Sam Altman's AI is now using your iris, your information, to program to find ways to utilize your currency, your crypto, your digital ID. It's going to be utilized and started in places like Great Britain. It's already happening in China. So the only way that you're going to be able to access your crypto and your digital money is using your eye. Now that's not freaky at all. That's not scary at all. But listen to this. It says, a privacy nightmare. Your iris is a unique biometric marker. It is now a tradable asset. Critics warn that the WorldCoin's invasive data, and remember, WorldCoin was set up by the same people that's trying this global push. And now Sam Altman, the player in OpenAI, the player in ChatGPT, the biggest player when it comes to artificial intelligence, is now embracing this. It says, this invasive collection of questionable security could turn out to be a perfect way for hackers to play with someone's identity. Centralized control. In a world that is desperately needing decentralization, WorldCoin comes in and centralizes it all in the name of a blockchain in the name of digitized currency that's supposed to be a parallel. What it is now they're going to use those things that you thought was parallel completely against you. A dystopian solution framed by the response of AI-driven job loss. WorldCoin hints at a universal basic income. That is WEF at its best. Giving people money because AI is taking their jobs. Global backlash means regulators like in Spain and Kenya and beyond are raising alarm saying this is dangerous. Why are we not catching this? Why are people buying this hook, line, and sinker? So what we're doing is we're taking their jobs with AI. AI is then going to run us, but then we want to give them a world coin, a digitized version that they get with their eye so they can have money to live on, and we know everything about them because we just took their biometrics with their eye. That's not scary at all, is it? Now, in a world where we see El Salvador changing, Argentina changing, the fact that Trump is becoming president, this has not stopped their push for what they're wanting to do. Look at what we're looking at right here. I mean, this is using the things that made parallel not be parallel anymore. What did I tell you a few weeks ago? The biggest buyer and the biggest player right now in Bitcoin isn't a parallel society. It's BlackRock, the ones who are the purveyor of things like the Agenda 2030. I mean, come on. So when we're buying into this system, thinking we're buying into a parallel system, all we're doing is we're literally going into the catch pen for the sheep to get slaughtered. Pay attention to these stories. Sam Altman, this man has a bunker that he has built, a multi-million-dollar bunker away from the United States, completely in another area, undisclosed, and he is the maker of OpenAI and ChatGPT and an ultra-billionaire. Do you think that's just hyperbole? Do you think that's just for the fun of it? No, he's done that because he knows the severity of what he's created and he knows how dangerous it could be. The people that are affected are not the people at the very top. Did you hear what it said? It's the people that AI has taken their jobs, manufacturing jobs. Biden just canceled tons of manufacturing jobs. He also just sent NVIDIA chips spiraling down because he's saying we're not going to allow them to be bought through NVIDIA exporting and importing. He also just tried to cancel a steel manufacturing job with Japan from America that provides huge amounts of work. He's trying to cap up all the wells. All these things are made to where it's going to make Americans say, well, we need UBI. We need money brought to us. Well, what that means is not only do you have government assistance when it comes to your medicine, your healthcare, your pharmaceuticals, it also means UBI. UBI doesn't come in the form of cash. It comes directly to your account using things like now, your eye. They're pushing this in Great Britain already. They're already building this new propaganda wing that is talking about digital ID and how important it is to make sure that you're safe and you're secure and your money is always kept with you because it's based in your eye. You just become another asset. You become another commodity for them to sell. And it's all based on the fact of crypto markets and how your money is just digital now. There's no point in a wallet. We will be changed by the intellect. The New World Order will come in by intellect, by the smartest among us, or by catastrophic events. Last two stories I want to bring up, and this is encouraging. This is the pushback. Well, there was trucks at Washington and at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and what it was actually Biden's moving trucks. You're starting to see stuff moved out of the White House. You're starting to see some of these diplomats not going any more excursions out in the world and try to change policy. That's a good sign. Also, Greenland's people came and said 80% of us believe that we want to be part of America and stay away from Denmark and its liberal ways. So you're seeing positive turns there. But the question is, when we go back to these other stories, is Trump strong enough? And is his cabinet strong enough to push against some of this? Now, what scares me is leadership in Congress with Mike Johnson and John Thune. I don't know if that's the case, but now we're here to hold on for the ride. Let's go back to that quote one more time. If they cannot make it happen by the ways of, I think of Clinton, Bush, Obama, by the intellect among us, the establishment, they will do it by catastrophic events. The only way that we can not be impacted and influenced by that is to get away from this new digital thumbprint, this new digital ID, to where crypto is the only way you have money. So you have cash, you have gold, you have precious metals, you have assets. You've got to have those things to have that independence. Also, you have to make sure that you're out of debt, because what they're going to do is they're going to put you in such a debt that where it doesn't matter, they're going to be able to control that because they're going to give you UBI to pay for it. Remember, it's kind of like the sheep running into the catch pen for the slaughterhouse. We have to be careful and conscientious, and I'm hoping that Trump has woken up enough to see that this is their plan, and it's not stopping unless he's willing to stop it. Guys, give me your thoughts on these stories. Let me know. Have you heard about some of these things going on and how LA is now getting a 2.0 revitalization? Well, revitalization, I think, is cutting the red tape for a change in not Gavin, but who is going to be able to buy that property. Let me know your thoughts. God bless.